Hello, I'm Troy, and today I wanted to start a new series where I talk about the debates that are currently happening in modern philosophy. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is the mind body problem. The mind body problem concerns the relationship between the mind and body and which controls which, and also what's the nature of their interactions. I keep on looking over to the side because my notes are right here, and I didn't really memorize the script, and I don't know if I'm going to be in the habit of doing that. Let's not get off topic. To preface this, I want to define what the mind is. According to Google, the mind is the element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experience. It's consciousness, it's thought. And now back to the main question. Who is leading who? There are three groups of thought that attempt to answer this question. The first that I'll talk about is dualism. Dualism is the idea that the mind and body are separate. And Descartes, I don't know, sorry. And Cartesian dualism proposes that the interaction in between the mind and body is a two-way street. And Descartes, we're going to call him Dr. D. Dr. D says, or argues that the mind and body interact in the pineal gland. And he also argued that the mind controls the body, but the body can influence what the mind does. And that's why people don't tend to act very rational. A lot of people that subscribe to the idea of dualism also adhere to the idea of an afterlife, many of them, considering like if mind controls body and body is perishable and the mind is separate from that, the mind basically escaped its shell, basically. That's how I'm interpreting what I've read so far on that. Next is monism. Well, not monism. Monism. I should have looked up these pronunciations first. But I'm already like 3 minutes in. Fuck it. Of course, those two schools of thoughts are materialism and phenomenalism. Phenomenalism? I'm sorry, I am this way. But materialism is basically the idea that most scientists and psychologists follow, which is that nothing exists beyond the material. Things can be reduced to their physical parts. And essentially the brain generates consciousness, and essentially we are our brains. The other idea is phenomenalism, which is the exact opposite of materialism. It's that everything can be reduced to the mind. Alright. And here are my thoughts on the matter of the mind and body problem. I'm more of a materialist, but I'm open to the idea of someone proving me wrong in that regard. Because again, just like most people, I'm not a big fan of the whole death thing. So, but yeah, the idea that the consciousness dictates action is in direct conflict with determinism, and it also insinuates free will. Since if we're not our brains, right, we have a choice whether or not to adhere to the experiences of our brains. But nobody does that. Nobody actively goes against what they know, because it's impossible to do that. You have to know the opposite of what you want in order to do the opposite, and thus the thought's already there, and you're putting your intentions behind it, most likely as a reaction to something else. Probably the reaction to finding out you don't have free will, and then trying to prove it. That doesn't prove that you have free will. It's just showing that the idea that you don't have free will is influencing your actions such that you will try to prove that theory wrong because it bothers you, then you can put that all the way back to, why does it bother me? Oh, for a reason I didn't choose. So, but that doesn't help you with your identity, though. You just gotta accept that you're your brain. The one thing I did see, like, weeks back, I did see a thing about free won't. Don't know much about it, but I thought I should mention it in this video. The only way we would have free will will be via randomness, and I'm a little iffy on if you can call that free will or not, because I'm like, if it is random, it's still you choosing without factoring in previous things. But in the end, that's all, it's still up to chance. You're just doing the action, which doesn't make you unfree, but it doesn't make your will free, if that makes any sense. Also, this is another thing that I've continuously seen that has bothered me, like, quite a bit, which is people trying to use quantum physics to prove that we have free will. In the moment, I kind of like went down the rabbit hole of quantum woo. Like, I went down it just to see what the fuck that was about, and it was just a lot of misrepresentation of science, which I can't get too mad at those people over, because it's just like, shit, I don't want to die either, and it would be like really dope if that shit was real. I'd be like 100% behind that, because it has like a lot of romantic ideas behind it. But quantum, I think like the most that quantum physics would do to discredit determinism would be to say certain things you cannot determine within the universe. And I'm like, that doesn't grant you free will as much as it just says you're going to process things that are just happening randomly, and you're going to react to them as you will, due to like the way your brain's set up, which is what you did not choose. Yeah. I skipped a whole bunch. Oh, what I think consciousness is, I just think that it's the brain making itself aware such that we can socialize better and solve problems easier, and also so the brain is aware of what it's doing. So we are aware of what we are doing, because we are our brains, and there's not much of a way to really discredit that, because I don't like the idea, like, I think people are maybe like subscribing to dualism and they're not aware of it, but like, I've seen, like, while doing research for this, I've seen tons of people say you're just along for the ride, which I mentioned in my previous video, but it's just like, that makes no sense. You're insinuating there's a ghost in the machine that's just really observing your actions and that you're not taking them at all. And it's just like, yeah, you're taking them, but you don't get to elect what you value, really. You just, whatever resonates with you, and you don't have a choice whether it does or doesn't. I'm a little mixed up when it comes to it, like, in terms of like talking about the afterlife. It's just like, I would like for there to be, because I really like the idea of like me continuing to explore this indefinitely expanding cosmos, learning more, observing everything, getting to see the beauty of everything, and also having to experience it through other people as well, because no one is going to see the world like I do, and they're going to provide me with a unique perspective that will shape me. I would like to continue to live to experience that, but it is what it is. But if there is no afterlife, I can live with that too, because it's like, well, oh, wrote it down because I'm better writing things than I am speaking. So if I die and there's nothing afterwards, I kind of take comfort in the fact that my body will go back into the earth and help that if we don't fuck everything up by the time I die. Because shit, I might end up seeing the distinction of humanity now that I think about it. That's irrelevant right now. My body will go into the earth and provide nutrients there and help the environment. And when I die, I would all my energy would go everywhere. So granted, I wouldn't consciously be around, but my energy would, and it would go around the world, and other people would feel it in a different way. And also, it's a little comforting if that's the end, then at least it happens to all of us, and that I think we're all kind of connected somehow through the universal experience of death. We're all gonna die. So I guess that kind of connects me with everyone in a certain way. It's one of those universal experiences that we all have because we're human. It's kind of like laughter, it's like joy. That shit's universal. Also, I think phenomenalism is a bit ridiculous. I don't think everything can be reduced to the mind. And truth is found in the paradox.